we're going to do it briefly because we have dealt a lot of blow to these particular areas of the Bible. Everybody spoke their mind, what everybody learned. But today we're just going to what are the points that we get out of here? And so meaning to the areas that we just read. The overall life application from Matthew chapters 1 to 5, primarily focus on understanding Jesus' lineage as the promised Messiah, emphasizing his divine nature through the genealogy, and highlights key ethical principles such as humility, compassion, forgiveness, and love. Through the Sermon on the Mount, which is we only got up to it by chapter 5. We see if we continue it, we get to chapter 7. It encourages believers to live a life that reflects God's character, even when facing challenges and persecution. Essentially, it sets the foundation for Christians' life based on faith and obedience to God's teaching. What that means is that as Jesus came in, from verse 1 to about 3, we learn about his birth and what his birth means to every one of us. For the women that was mentioned in his lineage, it is because those women have some kind of something not so profound or so, the one we can call like, oh, this person is a sinner or something. And he has those women in his lineage to let us know how humble is his background. That your background, wherever you came from, what happened in your lineage should not define who you are. If you follow God, if you hold on to God, it shouldn't. Because whatever it is that you're going to become on this earth, it's your own hand doing. If you hold on to God, everything will be well. And so, if we move off from 1 to 3 and leave his lineage behind and begin to move forward, you will see that Christ is teaching us that everything we do in life, because he claimed he's a king, and a lot of people around that time does not understand why he called himself a king. The genealogy in chapter 1 establishes Jesus as a descendant of King David, signifying his rightful claim to the throne as the promised Messiah. And I asked a question by myself. And I said that in chapter 5, verse 17, Jesus said that I didn't come here to abolish the law that was given to Moses in the Old Testament. He told the people that was listening, the focus of this area of the Bible comes from that chapter 17. And what he's saying is that contrary to what people are thinking, because he's now teaching a new level, a new news about the reason why he came. He's bringing the news out. And they begin to get confused, saying, wait a minute, I thought we have laws. I thought Moses, because every time you touch these people that are teaching the Sadducees, don't go this, don't do this. So they begin to use it for their own good, right? And then they begin to twist it to what is not. When it was given, the commandment, it was given on the top. It was just straight, don't do. Because if you understand the word commandment, it means do it, don't ask questions. And so when God gave Moses gave those commandments to Moses, he gave it to them without any explanation, He gave it to them verbatim, the way God gave it to him. And so Christ now came and go deeper and expatiate further and make it to be useful for the people of the dead and us, saying, when you look at it at the top and you take it like that, you don't understand it. And if you take it the way it was given in the first place, it will not take you to where the reason why I came. I came because of your salvation. If you take these laws the way that it was written in the Ten Commandments, it's not going to do what it's supposed to do. As a matter of fact, it will disqualify you. So he's telling them that, do not take it like that. We're going to go deeper. And he began to go deeper on the Ten Commandments. He expatiates further. Why? If you look at another woman, if you are a man and you have a wife, and you look at a woman lustfully, oh, she killed. Oh, this is. Christ is saying for that, your heart already lost after that woman, even though you have your own wife, and that will disqualify you to go to the kingdom of heaven. It's a sin to do that. And he also says something about saying somebody that have anger. He said, when I say do not kill, he said, I mean that when you are angry, which is talking to people like me, I get angry at the trouble of a heart, and I explode high. When I was reading this area of the Bible, I began to talk to me, and that is what you're supposed to learn about Bible. It's not a literature book. It's a living word that's supposed to be teaching you how to behave, how to move, how to talk, how to act. And when Christ was giving all these words, that is what he's telling us, that we need to learn from it. If you are the kind of person that comes to church Sunday to Sunday, and you don't come to the Wednesday, teaching, and you are late for when they're doing the Sunday school, I'm not trying to admonish anybody, but I'm trying to speak the truth that you are just doing it for doing its sake. That's to say you are practicing religion. You really need to sit, tune some people off, shut your phone down, and read the word of God and let the word speak to you. Because when they said it's a living word, it is because it is the living word. And if you just continue to sit and continue to let them read it to you and preach it to your ear, and you sat down there while people are speaking and they begin to speak the word to you, and it's just speaking. And when you get out there, they say, what was said in a church? You can't remember. You are playing church. I'm not teaching, but I'm not preaching, but I'm telling you, this area of the Bible is a place you need to go back to if you were not here when we are treating it, or when they treated it way back, because every year we do it. But every day that you read the word of God, it comes anew each morning. So, Christ lived the law and the prophet by obedience. Just the obedience comes from his father, Joseph. When Mary was conceived, and it wasn't something that Joseph knew about, the angel came to him at night in a dream, saying, don't be afraid to take your wife. He's betrothed to you. I know you don't know what's going on, but take your wife for you. Listen. The obedience came from him. He didn't argue. When he woke up, he did it exactly the way it was said. If it's nowadays, we're going to say, why? No, I'm not. It's destroying my reputation. He took it like that. And it makes me to come with what I asked the man of God here on Wednesday. I said the people that did not get the expansion of the commandments, that didn't get the new one. So what's going to happen to them? And I love the way the man of God said, he said, because at that time, what they need to know has been given to them. And they take it the way it was given. Not like what we do now. Even when we hear the explanation and everything, something that's supposed to qualify us, we still say, why? The people of them believe in God, and they believe in God wholeheartedly. Here now, may the Lord help us. Quickly, the Beatitude in chapter 5 outlines the characteristics of a true Christian's life, including being poor in spirit, money, being merciful, and being peacemaker. This is what people that will be blessed supposed to have. And that is the reason why I said it's not about saying, a worldly blessing kind of a thing. It's a spiritual blessing that God is talking about. Because if it's a worldly blessing, how many people is poor that is blessed? Should it be a negative thing to make us be blessed? Of course not. It is because Jesus is not talking about you being rich. There are some people who are filthy rich, who run around like a crazy person, and who doesn't know their left from their right, and they don't know whether they are going to go to heaven. You can be rich and be miserable. And that is the thing that Christ is saying, that it's not about worldly money. It's not about worldly things. It's about spiritual things. So Jesus challenges the interpretation of Old Testament law by emphasizing the importance of inner motive and intentions beyond just outward actions. And that is the reason why he went deeper into the Old Testament. Because what he wants us to do is not just to do it for the face-like thing. He wants us to go deeper so that we can be qualified for what? For the kingdom of heaven. Is preaching on the mount from where we start to 7 is about the kingdom of heaven. Jesus didn't just come and play with us. He came so that he can make us qualify to the kingdom of heaven. And by him giving all these things, he's giving us the recipe to go to the kingdom. He told us to teach, he teaches us to love our neighbor, love ourselves, like we love ourselves. And he even said that we should pray for our enemies. Ay, ay, ay. See that part? For me, it's too tough for me to swallow. Because why? I'm a human being. I know some of you guys are holier than thou. For me, I have to preach to God to help me to be able to, pray for my enemy. Because in my own little head, my enemy is not wishing me good. But guess what? Christ is saying for you to qualify to be a child of God and go to the kingdom, you have to pray for your enemy. And I think about it several times and pray about it. And then I began to say, you know what? He's right. He always right. Have you ever been at work and somebody always, pinch you in a very wrong way? They always see something bad to say about you. But every time you come in, you go, hey, Miss John Doe, how are you? You know what? I have some food in a lounge. You want some? At first, they will say no. But when they see others going to go and eat that food, I promise you they will do. They will just go there and eat. At the moment they eat that food, it's your enemy. He's dealing with you harshly. But the moment they eat, guess what? Their mind is at peace with you. So whichever way it goes, if you do good for the evil people, it always yields positive things for you. And I always pray that, okay, God, I will pray for my enemy. I don't want to kill them. I just want them to be alive to see me do good on this face of the earth. And that is the best way to pray for the evil ones. Quickly, for me to close this, my time is fast spent. Humility. I know that you recognizes your own limitation and depend on God. Prioritize seeing the need of others. We need to do that. People that are going through something that is bigger than them is not going to express it on their face, though. And that is why it's very important for us to pray for each other. You might not have no money to give to anyone. I believe what is being said here is that pray for each other. I take it like that spiritually. Pray for each other. Because if I'm going through something, you're not going to see it on my face. So I go to God. And I go to my house and cry. which means I'm not letting you know that I'm going through something, but I'm definitely going through something. And so if that is going on in the house of the Lord and nobody is praying for you, you don't have to be here. That is not a church. I can be in a clubhouse. I better I'll be in a clubhouse if I'm in a church and nobody's praying for me. So we need to learn how to pray for each other. And that is what he's saying then. And then he said, respond with compassion. Actively seek to show mercy and kindness to those around you, even when they may not deserve it. So it speaks to the fact that there was a time we were talking about saying, love each other, and some people say some people are very difficult to love. Okay, you are a perfect person, right? You really don't have no fault no matter what. But guess what you do? I do. So if somebody rob you in a horrible way, Jesus is saying, don't look at them the way they are doing. He says, go after them. Help them. Have mercy. Have kindness. Speak to them in a good way. You might calm down whatever it is they are having. So above all, you know where Christ is saying, do not swear. If you know, there's no reason for you to swear. The Old Testament says, set up something, and Jesus said, he explained, he said, don't swear because you can't change the color of your hair, you can't do this and do that. Jesus said, do not swear, period. He said, don't swear. Don't say to the heaven, don't say to the sky, don't swear at all. And then he go further and say, be authentic in your actions and words. Align them with your Christian values. So you have to be authentic. You don't have to say, if you say, I did something to you, and I say, you know what, I didn't do it. Honestly, I didn't do that. It's not me, I didn't do that. But guess what? I don't have to say true to God before you will know that I did not do it. I just said I didn't do it. So if you're not going to take it, fine. And that's what Christ is saying. Do not swear. Just say it. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. So finally, I said, so what is it that Christ is trying to show us? Here, Jesus fulfilled the law and the prophet by living a perfect life that exemplifies the true meaning and intent of the Old Testament laws, demonstrating the heart of the commandment through his teaching and action, essentially bringing the law to its fullest potential and revealed to its deeper spiritual meaning, particularly through his emphasis on love for God and neighbor as the core principle. That is the reason why he came. A man of God stood here and said it. He said, all these arguments that we're having, if you love someone, you will overlook their shortcomings. Love conquers all. And that's what Christ is doing. He's saying that all these things I'm telling you, your life will be simple if you just love someone. Because if you love me, if I offend you, and I said I'm sorry, you will let it go. But if you're holding on to it, then the love that you have for me is not that good. And if you want to go to the kingdom of God, and you want to love God with everything you have, with your mind and your soul, which is the two commandments, love your neighbor as yourself, and love God. It is the two top commandments. If you want to keep that, practice loving people. Loving God, loving people. If you can do those two things, the rest will come naturally. And the kingdom will be yours. And this is my story, and I'm sticking to it. And this is where I end. May the Lord help us.
I hope you've been blessed through the teaching. I hope we have any question within this period about the, if not, let's just take 3 minutes and then kick the service open. Thank you.